Hey, Sage, I feel the exact same way. I'm just doing this just to get it done. That's all I'm really doing it for. We'll, uh, we'll go over the shit news last. We'll save the worst for last tonight. Just checking baseball. Do not really see anything other than Harrison Bader signing a 2 year, $20.5 million contract with the San Francisco Giants. Had a great year last year, hitting almost 280 and damn near a 350 on base and a 450 slugging, but that's his career best. Probably not going to replicate that. Um, Probably going to push Jung Hoo Lee to right field, and pretty good addition though I would say for the Giants, because it looks like they found a viable center fielder to at least be a very good platoon player. I'm not going to go over the minor league deals, even though Craig Kimbrell signed a minor league deal with the Mets, and you've also got Trey Mancini, who used to be a pretty good player not that long ago, signing with the Angels on a minor league deal. So, former J. Nick Sandlin signed with the Angels as well. There's so many guys on the LA Angels that are former Jays. Like, it's kind of crazy if we go through it. Not going to. I know Sasado is one that they got recently too. What's this here? The Twins agreed to terms with Joe Ryan on a 1 year, $6.2 million contract with a mutual option for 2027. Well, why the hell would they do that? Is it because he's still under arbitration? Like, that seems like super low numbers for him. Anyways, let's get to football. Kind of as everyone expected, let me just say, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't who, Sage? Why wouldn't who? I forget what I was talking about just seconds ago. I'm in transition. I'm in football mode now. Do you need an explanation? Do you require my assistance, yes or no? I think Sage is just fucking with me. Son of a bitch. Anyways, we all kind of figured the Patriots would beat the Denver Broncos yesterday, and they certainly did. Now, it was a close game, 10-7. Had it not been for what Jared Stidham throwing an interception as well as a backward pass that went for a fumble recovery, we might be talking today about Denver pulling off a huge upset at home. Definitely kept it close and played very well. Only thing was, I mean, they really couldn't get anything offensively going outside of maybe Marvin Mims, who had 62 yards. Neither could New England, to be honest, but New England was able to run the ball better, which in these types of games is certainly important. Denver rushing for 79 yards on 24 carries, whereas New England had 141 yards on 38 carries. Drake May did account for 65 of those yards on 10 carries as well. So Drake May did get it going with the legs. I'm just interested to see how things would have been if Bo Nix had played. The conditions were not great. It just would have been nice if that one player was playing. Drake May threw under 50%, under 100 yards, only threw for 4.1 per throw. His rating was actually lower than Jared Stidham's, so keep that in mind. Gonna have to play a lot better against a defense that's right there with Denver. I think we're all going to probably be on board when we say the Seahawks probably going to win the Super Bowl. Now, great game between Seattle and the Los Angeles Rams yesterday. Both quarterbacks were on fire, so both quarterbacks threw for over 340 yards. Both quarterbacks had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. The difference in the rating was Sam Darnold was a 127.8, and Matt Stafford was a 127.6. So you can't fault Stafford for their shortcomings this game. Running the ball, well, the Rams were able to do that a bit better. Had 114 yards on 22 carries, with actually Blake Corum doing the bulk of the damage there with 55 yards and 6.1 per tote. Seattle wasn't great running the ball, 75 yards on 26 carries, so that's under three per carry. So nothing really crazy there, I would say. The Patriots did have the easiest path to the Super Bowl. I will agree with you there. Houston was tough though. Denver's tough, but they didn't play any quarterbacks yet. So there is that. Didn't play any quarterbacks, and haven't really played any. That's not true. It is kind of true. The running games haven't particularly been great. I know R.J. Harvey's a guy that's going to be good, but he hasn't shown that he can do it at that level yet, especially as a feature back. If they had J.K. Dobbins, that'd be a bit of a different story. So, yeah, I think Seattle is going to attack at all three levels. Like, they're going to be great on offense, defense, and special teams. Their defense really doesn't have any holes. Great defensive line, great linebackers, great secondary. So I don't think there's any level that you have to worry about. Much like the Broncos, who are pretty strong all over as well. But different. It's going to be a bit different playing Sam Darnold, I think. As crazy as that sounds, that Sam Darnold is going to a Super Bowl. Pretty wild for sure. Kind of two plays in this game that were really interesting. And, I mean, the one play for the Rams kind of does, you could say it cost them, but I'm going to say it didn't cost them, and I'll explain why. Obviously, Xavier, what was his name there? Xavier Smith had two fumbles, one of which he lost on a return, and that went back for a touchdown a couple plays later. So that's a big one for the Rams. You can't have that in these types of games. However, Reek Woolen as well really did something stupid. So they got off the field. Seattle did with their defense, and we're going to force a punt. I think it was fourth and 12, and Reek Woolen obviously starts taunting the sidelines there and gets called for a 15-yard unsportsmanlike flag. So Rams score a touchdown right after that. So that's why I'm saying I can't really say that the Rams lost the game because of that penalty, because they also had it offset by Seattle's players screwing up there. So it kind of even things out in my books. I think the better team did win, and I think they are the better team than the Rams overall. It's close, but I feel like the Rams need to chip away a little bit at their secondary if they want to kind of close that gap. Now, the gap is obviously not very big. We're talking a 31-27 ball game, so it was anyone's game right down to the end. For the Super Bowl, obviously we know that Seattle and New England are having a rematch of, I believe, Super Bowl 49. And so far on Bet365, they are favored, the Seahawks are favored to win by 4.5 points. I'm not going to make my prediction as to the cover of the spread, that sort of thing. But I agree with this. I agree with this line. It seems like the Patriots are up against it a little bit. I think we all knew for the entirety of the season, the big teams are over in the NFC. The best teams in the league are in the NFC. And in the AFC, there's some very good teams, but then some of those very good teams come with question marks. Like, obviously you got fucking Houston, no quarterback, okay? You got Jacksonville. Well, there's kind of question marks on a variety of levels. They had a great year, though. And then who else did you have? You had, like, Pittsburgh. Well, They were a division winner that wasn't very good. Can say the same thing about Carolina on the NFC front, though. But it's just the teams, even Denver, to me, they've got great defense, but does their offense scare me even with Bo Nix? Not really. I'm not really that scared. And I think that fourth quarter bullshit, that shit wears off real quick. You remember the Minnesota Vikings a couple years ago? Remember they had all these wins by like 3 points or something, or 3 points or less. They were the best team at these close games. Well, what happened the year after? They're a 500 football team because you're not going to get lucky for a sustained amount of time. Bo Nix is not going to have as many fourth quarter victories as he did this year ever again. Probably just like Caleb Williams out there in Chicago. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Luck, there's a bit of luck, and I would say the Bears were one of the luckiest teams in the league this year too. Now, they're not going to get that luck next year, but I do think they'll be a better team than they are this year as well. But yeah, that stuff just doesn't sustain itself. So even Denver, I think, had warts. I think New England, you can say all you want about how great their team is and how great Mike Vrabel is. I really don't give a shit. They've got problems as well. Their problem, where's their pass rush? How are they going to get after Sam Darnold? Outside of Milton Williams, who do they really have for a pass rusher? I think they have Harold Landry, who didn't play, and Harold Landry I don't think is the same guy he used to be 3 or 4 years ago. I could be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong, though. So definitely need to get more pass rush going, that's for sure. And great year. I'll say great year. I just don't see them winning unless Drake May can play miraculously or Sam Darnold plays like shit. But Drake May's been bad in the playoffs. Let's not kid ourselves. Drake May's been a terrible quarterback. His performance this week was terrible. His performance against Houston was brutal as well. He had 4 fucking fumbles. 2 of them were recovered by the other team. 4 fumbles. I know that doesn't go against your quarterback rating, but 4 fumbles. Try that against Seattle. See what the fuck happens. That's all I gotta say. Love Drake May. Big Drake May supporter. Do love him, but let's put things in context here. He did not play good in his first playoff, and maybe he'll wake up in the Super Bowl. We'll see. Now the boneheaded thing that we need to cover today, and I can't believe we need to cover this, is somehow Shedeur Sanders is going to the Pro Bowl because obviously the Drake May guy there, he's going to be suiting up for a Super Bowl, so he's not going to go to the Pro Bowl. I am not 100% sure how this works. This must have been fan voted, and in all seriousness, it has to be a joke. People must have just thought, like, hey, let's just, like, vote in the worst player we can and just, like, make a complete mockery of the Pro Bowl. And I don't know how the NFL isn't, like, stepping in and being like, hey, no, like, this isn't a viable option. You look at what Shedeur Sanders did last year. He had 7 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, a 68.1 rating? Yep, 68.1 rating, and an 18.9 QBR. That's a low QBR. So, what does that mean, his quarterback mean? Where does that place him in the NFL pecking order? Well, there was 42 players that qualified, so 42 players that had enough reps to qualify for the, for passer rating, right? Well, he was in 41st place. So you're literally, there's backups out there that should have been on the Pro Bowl over him. It's a complete mockery, and in my opinion, it is the worst Pro Bowl edition I've ever seen in my life, and it's not even close. And not that I pay too much attention to the Pro Bowl before, but like, it's just, I mean, even Sean Merriman called it out. Said, it used to be a badge of honor when you went to a Pro Bowl. You'd be proud of that. Now it's like, fuck, if this guy's going to the Pro Bowl, are you even that good? And I know there's others out there that, get in because of their reputation. Probably like Jalen Ramsey. I don't think Jalen Ramsey should have got in, but he's a hell of a lot better at his position than fucking Shedeur Sanders. That's for sure too. But I don't know. That'll be the question I ask on Twitter. Is this the worst Pro Bowl selection of all time? That's my question to you guys. And to take it further, is it the worst All-Star edition of all time of any of the major sports? I remember when Derek Jeter got into the All-Star game because it was his last year and they wanted to play homage to him. But he was still better at that time than Shedeur Sanders is. I don't know. Something needs to happen. Maybe the NFL thinks they're these gurus, and if we just fucking put Shedeur Sanders in, we get people talking. Well, it just takes away the credibility. You put guys like this. Let's put him in the fucking Hall of Fame too while we're at it. Fuck it. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say about this. Shedeur Sanders is a piece of fucking excrement and a fucking piece of garbage. His performance is terrible, and I don't know how this fucking happens. That's all I'm gonna say. That's it for tonight. I am going to. I'm gonna try not to think about Shedeur Sanders anymore because it is frustrating. It is certainly frustrating. All right, we'll be back at it tomorrow, unless we're not. Have a good night, guys, and see you later.